The US presidential race has seen the odds swing back and forth between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, but with a race that's already included assassination attempts, disastrous debates, a candidate change, and viral memes.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
It's still anyone's guess as to who will win. This unpredictability leaves British Prime Minister Keir Starmer with the prospect of having to work with Donald Trump. While Labour and the Democrats lean to the political left, the Republican Party has shifted much further to the right since 2016. And so the question is, can Britain's Labour government work with a MAGA Republican Party? Winston Churchill coined the term special relationship after the Allies' victory in the Second World War. When British and American leaders are aligned, it can be beneficial to both nations. Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan were political soulmates and presented a united front against the Soviet Union, accelerating the end of the Cold War. The close partnership between Tony Blair and Bill Clinton helped broker peace in Northern Ireland. And despite ideological differences, Blair and Clinton's successor, George W. Bush, forged a close bond, particularly in the aftermath of 9/11. But no relationship is without its bumps in the road. Prime Minister Edward Heath focused on forging stronger ties with Europe, while President Nixon was pivoting the US towards China. The result was that Britain became less important on the global stage. In the 1960s, Howard Wilson refused to commit British troops to America's war in Vietnam. In turn, President Johnson denied Britain a loan to stabilise the UK's economy. The subsequent devaluing of the British pound was a major blow to Britain's economic credibility.
From now on, the pound abroad is worth 14% or so less in terms of other currencies.
So what are the prospects of a positive relationship between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump? Well, the last time Trump was in office in Britain, the Labour Party was in opposition, led by Jeremy Corbyn. Many in the party were not shy in criticising Trump. In May 2017, London's Labour Mayor Sadiq said that Trump's views on Muslims were ignorant, to which Trump replied, "I will remember those statements. They are very nasty statements." The following year, Khan granted permission for a protest group to fly a balloon depicting the president as a baby. The mayor said, "Just because they might find it objectionable to be ridiculed, we can't curtail our right to protest." Trump hit back. "I think Khan has done a very bad job on terrorism. I think he has done a bad job on crime. If you look, all of the horrible things going on there with all of the crime that is being brought in." That same year, Labour MP David Lammy, who is now Britain's Foreign Secretary, wrote in Time magazine, "Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, he's also a profound threat to the international order that has been the foundation of Western progress for so long." In 2019, Britain invited Trump to a full state visit to Britain, including a banquet with the Queen. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn turned down an invitation to the event, stating, "Theresa May should not be rolling out the red carpet for a state visit to honour a president who rips up vital international treaties, backs climate change denial, and uses racist and misogynistic rhetoric." Corbyn did invite Trump to a private meeting, but he was rejected, with the president saying, "He wanted to meet today, I said no. He is somewhat of a negative force. I have decided not to meet." In fact, during the visit, Corbyn and his shadow chancellor John McDonnell chose to attend a protest rally against the entire visit. Keir Starmer himself has also gone on the record criticising Trump in the past, although his language was softer. In the aftermath of the storming of Congress, he said, "Responsibility lays with President Trump. No doubt about that. This is the culmination of years of the politics of hate and division, and this is where it leads." So where does that leave us today? Putting the personal differences aside, the greatest source of conflict will be in key policy issues. On the Russia-Ukraine war, Starmer has reaffirmed Britain's commitment to support Ukraine. I've just had a very good meeting with President Zelensky, where I made it absolutely clear that as far as the UK is concerned, the change of government makes no difference to the support that we will provide. Trump has repeatedly claimed that he would be able to end the war in 24 hours, but he's been coy about how he would achieve that, leading to speculation that he wants Ukraine to surrender territory that Russia has annexed. He may even attempt to force President Zelensky's hand by withdrawing US military and financial support. And while Starmer and Trump both support Israel's right to defend itself, their approach to the ongoing war with Hamas also differs. Starmer has called for an immediate ceasefire and the return of the hostages, while remaining committed to a two-state solution. Trump has stated that the two-state solution seemed unlikely after October 7th, and has claimed that a ceasefire would only give Hamas time to regroup for another attack. On September 27th this year, Keir Starmer and Donald Trump had their first ever face-to-face meeting. It was over dinner at Trump Tower. Before the meeting, Starmer said, "I think it really matters that you know who your counterpart is in any given country and know them personally, get to know them face to face." Trump said, "Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice. I actually think he's very nice. He ran a great race. He did very well. It's very early. He's very popular." Very few details have been released about the meeting, but we have been told by a government spokesperson that they discussed the long-standing friendship between the UK and the US and the importance of continuing to develop the strong and enduring partnership between our two countries, which is pretty vague. We don't know if they discussed the comments of David Lammy, who's now the Labour Foreign Secretary, or the long-standing feud with Sadiq Khan, who's recently started a third term as London Mayor. But what we do know is that it is unusual for a British Prime Minister to meet a presidential candidate at all during a campaign, and so perhaps the fact it even happened shows that they both want to build bridges despite their differences. Hours before this video was published, the Trump campaign took a shot at the Labour Party by claiming that they were interfering in the election. The official complaint to the Federal Election Commission presents as evidence a LinkedIn post by Labour's head of operations. The post invited staff to go to the United States to support the Democratic campaign. The Trump campaign says that this is in breach of the law which bans foreign nationals from giving donations or contributions to campaigns. Now, it's already known that the Labour Party has been given advice since their win in July, but this is not new. Campaign teams have traded notes across the pond for years, not just Labour and Democrats, but also Conservatives and Republicans. Labour also add that they are not paying for staff to go, and they must take time off as annual leave. Some critics have hit back at Trump by citing his liberal use of Nigel Farage in his 2016 campaign. This morning, Keir Starmer was on a flight to a summit and said to the press entourage, "I spent time in New York with President Trump, had dinner with him, and my purpose in doing that was to make sure that between the two of us, we established a good relationship, which we did, and we're grateful for him for making the time."